Hello students, and welcome to this class of Introduction to Schools of Sociological Theory. Well, today we have a very interesting topic, and this topic that we are going to deal with is with regards to the unit 1, and that's functionalism. And specifically we are going to look at the contributions made by Talcott Parsons towards functionalism. Now, Talcott Parsons was an American sociologist and a contemporary of Robert King Merton. And Talcott Parsons, along with Robert King Merton, played a vital role in making the functionalist perspective a very predominant perspective, not only in America but in other parts of the globe. Today over here, the topic of discussion and what we're going to learn about is about Talcott Parsons' AGIL model, sometimes also referred to as the prerequisites that are required for the smooth functioning of the society or any systems in society. So let's have a look at this very quickly here. So as you see on the board, I have put up about Talcott Parsons, and I have put over there as the AGIL model. So going further with this, the word AGIL is an acronym which stands for adaptation, goal attainment, integration, and latency. According to Talcott Parsons, these four are supposed to be the prerequisites for any system in what he talks about as a part of his social action theory. So social action, which is a larger system, for any of the larger system or even the subsystems to function smoothly, you require these four basic prerequisites which he provides with the help of his AGIL model. So what is this? As you see here, the social action which he talks about, and wherein you will see that this idea of social action is borrowed from two great sociologists. One is Durkheim, from whom he has looked at the idea of the social through Durkheim's idea of the social fact, and action is borrowed from Max Weber, who talks about sociology as the study of social action, and in which specifically Max Weber talks about the meanings attached to such actions. So it's a combination that Talcott Parsons makes in the understanding of the social action through a systemic approach, in which, in other words, is a structural functionalist approach. So going further, the social action theory of his could be applied to different types of systems. It could be the social system, the cultural system, the economic system, and several other type of systems that we have in the society that contribute in the systematization of the functioning of every person in the society. So going further, you see the word AGIL, it stands for A for adaptation, G for goal attainment, I for integration, and L for latency. Now when we talk about these, as you see, adaptation, it relates to the cognitive symbolization. What does cognitive symbolization mean? Cognitive symbolization means that you are actually trying to incorporate different aspects of the environment, of the place that you belong to, of the resources that are there around you. You are trying to collect all these together. Okay, and you are trying to make sense of this, and you are adapting to all of these around you. The second part is goal attainment. Goal attainment relates to the expressive symbolization, which means that once you have collected the resources around you, once you have understood the external environment, then you need to set goals, and these goals are set in a form of how you express these, what you do in order to achieve these goals. Next one is integration, which relates to the moral, evaluative part of things in society. When you express something, when you are trying to do some things in society, you have or you require some type of a moral guides, okay, some sort of a system that guides you towards achieving these. And lastly, we have latency. This is in the form of constituted. There you need some rules and regulations which guide your behavior. So I would like to explain to you about this AGIL model and its application with the help of a subsystem. And the subsystem there is the tribal system. You will see that when we are applying this model in the understanding of a tribal system, how we could understand a tribal system with the help of AGIL. So as you see there, A, which means adaptation. When we talk about a tribal system, and specifically here I would take you to the example of hunters and food gatherers. When we talk about hunters and food gatherers, we are actually looking at this tribal system, the whole system of hunting and food gathering is basic to their very survival. But it can't be that you hunt and gather everything that is there around you, and if you do so, it will ultimately lead to your non-existence. And that is why there is a need for a system. And thus you see, these are the prerequisites that are required for a tribal system to function smoothly. A, as I said, stands for adaptation. You need to adapt to the external environment, the place that you belong to, the forest, the other things around you, and you need to understand what type of resources are available there. When are these resources to its optimum, or in other words, when are these resources in full bloom? You need to understand all these things, and you need to adapt to that, and you need to ensure that these resources are being distributed amongst everyone. Only then you will have all of you able to sustain yourselves. But this first part of adaptation is important. Going further, you need to set goals. You need to set goals, and you need to put in a system in place so that you can take proper decisions towards this process of adaptation. In other words, when you say you need a system in place, it means that you need to have proper means of integration, that is I. You need an educational system which is going to talk about the skills that are required for this goal that you set. This goal means, it means that you need to hunt and gather food. That's your basic goal of your very own existence. If you want this goal to be achieved, and if you want this to happen, and you want to take decisions about this and see that everybody else is fulfilling this goal, you need to have I. That is, you need to integrate this. For this you require a system of education. A system of education in this tribal system would apply to where the youngsters are being taught from the elders, how do you go about the hunting and food gathering? What are the processes? What are the strategies employed? What are the do's and don'ts? So all of these things will be taught to you when you are integrating through an educational system, okay, to the skills that are required for your very own survival. Lastly, we have a latency. It's not enough to simply have adaptation to the external environment, setting of goals, trying to achieve them, means inculcating those skills that are required, but you also need to have some system that is going to tell you what is right and wrong, which is going to give you a direction, which is going to help you to have a balance. Because as I was telling you in the beginning, that if you try to somehow exhaust all types of resources in your vicinity, then there will come a day where these hunting and food gatherers have to move to another place. They may not able to be settled at one place. So as a result, if they want to sustain themselves in one place and manage everything in a very systematic way, they will come up with a belief system. This belief system will tell them that what can be done and what you need to avoid at certain times with the help of some beliefs that may prohibit them from doing certain things. So belief systems only help you to give you a direction. It enforces certain things that are required in the community for the interdependence of each other. Okay, so as you see here, it enforces, okay, it enforces action of the community. It sets rules, it sets regulations, and this is done with L, that's a constitutive prerequisite that is required. So when you have all these four, you will find that the tribal system will function smoothly. There won't be any problem. And this particular model could be applied to any type of subsystems or a larger system that we talk about. So we could apply this to maybe a fishing community. There again you could see that sometimes you have belief systems which tell you that in the month of June, July, and August maybe, especially around these months, you have the month of Shravan in India, where we may not consume fish because we are dependent on this for our very survival. And if you exhaust all the fish from the sea, and there would come a time where there would be no fish in the sea. So I hope you are getting this point, what I am saying. When we are talking about a system to exist, it's based on how we are interdependent, interrelated, and we try to maintain a balance with the environment around us, with the people around us, and these are done with the help of these four prerequisites. So with this, I hope you're able to understand Talcott Parsons AGIL model, and I hope you will be able to apply it to anything maybe in society in order to understand it better. Thank you.